Everyone, I'm Gavin Chua, Group Leader of Group 18 at Stromina, and today we're looking at how Kofu, a Singapore local food court brand, will move to Egypt and the changes that it will face. This is the table of content. So what is Kofu? Kofu is a local food court brand in Singapore with over 30 outlets island-wide. Their mission statement is to provide you better food, better people, a better life, and they strive to provide a warm family environment for their customers. Typically, Kofu is priced at a affordable rate so they can feed a lot more people and mass. Understanding the country. So where is Egypt? On the right of Egypt is the Middle East. On the south and west is Africa, and the north is Europe. So it's basically a melting hot pot of different cultures. So the current population of Egypt is 104 million, which puts it at the top 30 biggest population in the world. Ethnicity is mostly Egyptian. Official language is Arabic. However, there are people that speak English and French as well. Religion is Muslim, and the GDP per capita is $12,700 US, which puts it at the top 22 GDPs in the world. However, as a side effect, they have 3 wars ongoing, but it doesn't affect them that much in terms of F&B. So, looking at the market and socio-economic analysis, the F&B market in Egypt is between $8 billion, which is very significant for such a big country. How often do Egyptians eat out? Mostly about 12 times a week, which is higher than most countries in comparison. Canada only eats out twice a week. So this is a good news for F&B business. Important dining etiquette. Because it's a Muslim country, they do not consume pork, lard, and alcohol. Cutlery is optional because they tend to eat their hand sometimes. Smoking is a common afternoon practice, so they will smoke shisha after they eat. And because of the traditional women values, women will normally be seated only at the moment. Some general etiquette. Traditional culture greatly influence the business value of Egypt, so hierarchy in the group is always respected, strictly respected. The distinction between professional and family relationship is mostly at best. Sometimes they go both ways. However, punctuality and respect for deadlines are most of the time approximate at best. So you can say you can meet a person at 2 p.m., but they come out in the afternoon anytime they want. Interestingly, Egyptians are obese. 19 million Egyptians are obese, accounting for 35% of the adult population, and they have the highest rate of child obesity in the world. So, I guess the war doesn't affect them that much in that sense. So, this is the different cultural models for Egypt and Singapore. These are the ones that we focus on with the most value difference: future orientation, human orientation, gender vegetarianism, and unsustainable avoidance. So, basically, Egypt is similar to Singapore in most contexts, such as hierarchy, core values, and dietary habits. The good thing is the F&B industry in Egypt is growing and it's mostly untapped, which has great potential for Kofu. And lastly, the main difference is just religion, future human orientation, traditional women's right, and unsustainable avoidance. So today we'll be looking at these 4 cultural challenges to solve: number 1, number 2, and number 3, and number 4, which my group will guide you through.
Hello everyone, my name is Bai Hao Kun. Today I want to talk about the manager of Kofu, how to communicate and negotiate with employees, suppliers, and partners of the host country. With the increasing globalization of business and the increasing diversification within each country, Kofu's business in Egypt will be challenged from different aspects. The expansion of Kofu's business in Egypt will not only face the geographical distance between Singapore and Egypt, but also the collision between 2 different cultures. One of the challenges that Kofu will face is the communication between Kofu's managers and the relevant personnel in the host country. These challenges from the different cultural contexts, values, eating habits, and vastly different geographical environments. All this will bring great challenges to Kofu's managers in terms of communicating with relevant local personnel. According to How and House mode, Singapore's and Egypt can be divided into 2 different cultural systems. Through the analysis of high-low context communication, Singapore's overall high context culture, but it also takes into account many characteristics of low context culture. In Singapore, when people communicate, nonverbal influence is huge, but words are limited, and people have strong collectivism. For Egypt, there are many similarities with Singapore in many aspects, but the geographical location of Egypt determines its difference from Singapore. In Egypt, people's nonverbal communication will be significantly restricted. People's feeling and thoughts can be expressed through language. At the same time, in the cultural environment of Singapore, people have more monochrome attitude towards time, while Egypt's attitude towards time belong to polychrome. For this kind of cross-cultural business communication, Kofu's managers need to use scientific method and attitude to patiently complete the challenge. Firstly, when the Kofu manager communicates with relevant personnel in the host country, clarity, conciseness, and completeness are the most important basis for communication. And more importantly, they need to understand the taboos of the local country. At the same time, they must have a certain understanding of local nonverbal behaviors in Egypt to avoid some embarrassing emergencies. And some topics may be okay to talk about and be accepted by people in Singapore. But in Egypt, will make the other people feel violated. For example, talking about eating pork in Egypt. Secondly, when negotiation with each other Egypt, Kofu's managers should face it with a win-win mentality. That is, communicate or negotiate with an interest-based technique. Negotiation is a process in which both parties participate and interact. The interest beside negotiation technique is to create win-win situations and maximize the benefits for both parties. This negotiation requires all parties to focus on their own interests rather than their positions, and it requires all parties to work together to solve problems and expand the scope of options. If the manager can actively use this negotiation technique, this will help Kofu develop better and better in Egypt. Thanks very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Yixiang. Today I'll talk about how Kofu recruit, select, and train our employee or manager and how does dealing with group study dimensions. For recruitment of employee in Kofu, there will see into these three most important criteria. The first is service-oriented. Employee need to possess a strong service mindset to create a positive experience for customer. Second, passionate possess a desire to continuously improve and stay up to date with industry trends and knowledge. Third, possess the ability to work well with a driven workforce with a common goal of providing quality dining experience. Next, how co-fulfilling gender egalitarianism with recruitment. Gender egalitarianism are also important as it is one of the most particular of effective leaders most widely admired and the degree to which a group minimizes gender inequality is egalitarian. The table shows that Kofu, Singapore have many women in leadership roles, many discrimination of worker sex, equal equality of male and female education attainment, give women a greater role in decision making to company relation. Egypt is one of the most effective level of gender equilibrium values and low relative achievement of males versus females. Looking at a variety of factors, women are often manipulated and opposed to men, while more women in economy involved in upper income quota, 31.1% of women with technical or post-secondary education are still underrepresented. What Kofu do is they can help national partners provide progress award, gender equal and women empowerment, contribute to the outcome of national growth and the elimination of gender inequalities. The ensure that women are involved and they are voiced to be heard within government agencies, civil society, and the private sector, so they can participate fully in public dialogue and decision making. The training by Kofu provide very detailed information and plan to be really helped by employee and learn how to grow in organization. The firm places great emphasis on educating workers to providing them with skills and expertise to be able to practice at opinion level according to the scope of the work. The company offer daily on-the-job training and professional support for the staff among their initiative. Kofu run formal staff training program each month. Department under training which is unique to the role of that department. Every new employee is well educated and trained before they start work. In addition to academic instruction, their monthly training session deal with the mental health and well-being aspects. Now I'll talk about how Kofu apply future orientation in their training. Future orientation is what degree to presenting of the potential, anticipate future implication, and prepare about before they act. Prosperity to invest for the future now. Train employee to be prepare for their future and adapt what they've been taught inside outside of organization. Emphasize the effort to achieve long-term sustainability. Organization need to be receptive and recognize see material accomplishment and spiritual fulfillment as an interconnected whole. The global project form a future-oriented community around the world while having higher per capita gross domestic product. It also shows that members of this sector will also have more competitive, more confidence, and more opinion. The selection of employee in Kofu will take some old worker to get used to the new technology and program to all of ordering and payment is self-service. Workers need to be trained in a digital interface because they need to troubleshooting any problem that customer may face. Uncertainty avoidance is a degree which people are comfortable with risk, change, and ambiguity. In high uncertainty avoidance country, there are greater rules, structure, order, and predictability. Singapore is an example of the lowest uncertainty avoidance countries. They are linked to uncertainty avoidance as Kofu will see how employees using formally in relation with others depend on follow on formalized process and policies, take moderate risks which are carefully measured, and last but not least, show strong resistance to change. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Pan Ping. I'd like to talk to you today about the third challenge, which is how to deal with the differences in work ethic and behavior, such as punctuality, stealing from the workplace, social issues, and work. When considering entering an international business, managers need to realize that the conditions they take for granted may be different in other countries. In addition, cultural differences also involve ethics and behavior. Understanding cultural differences is especially important for managers, who must understand their employees in order to motivate and lead them. So, work ethic and behavior are also important. Uncertainty avoidance is one of the cultural dimensions. It is the extent to which a society, organization, or group relies on social norms, rules, and procedures to elevate the unpredictability of future events. Singapore is a high uncertainty avoidance society which has characters such as use formality in interaction with others, are orderly and keep meticulous records, rely on formalized politics and procedures, take moderate, carefully calculated risks, show strong resistance to change, while Egypt is the opposite, which has a low uncertainty avoidance. For the first problem, the concept of time and form, Singaporeans have a strong sense of time and form. They will attend the meeting on time and be well prepared. For Egypt, Egyptians relied for the most part on informal modes, so they don't like punctuality. They are often late and don't have a strong sense of time. The solution for this part is that the group must maintain humility. Secondly, the expected behavior must be consistent, and the most important, set the latest arrival time to improve the concept of time. Those are late will have their wages docked. For the theft problem, in Singapore, theft is seriously dealt with by the law, but for Egypt, despite legal restrictions, the penalties and enforcement are not as strong as Singapore. Also, Singaporeans tend to calculate risks more carefully than Egyptians. Singaporeans tend to calculate risk more carefully than Egyptians, so Singapore has a lower theft rate than Egypt. For the theft problem, the solutions are that the restaurant should install cameras in public places to monitor and prevent theft problem, and no lenience, and the managers should observe carefully and publish the theft problem, and also the managers should aggressively and verbally combat the theft. So for the last one, in terms of socialization, in Singapore, managers and subordinates respect each other and play by the rules, while Egyptians use informality in their interactions with others, such as they value human relations and give gifts to each other to maintain the relationship. For this problem, the solutions are that social activities must be restricted during designated breaks. Security guards and managers occasionally should check the work progress and the status of employees to prevent excessive social interaction to some extent to ensure quality, work ethics, and behavior.
So culture challenge number 4, business operation structure. How different are the two nations? How do we tailor our advertising and what culture do we adopt? Egypt and Singapore are two very different countries on human orientation levels. Egypt has a score of 4.73 and Singapore has a score of 3.49. Egyptians, they believe the interests of others are important. They are motivated by belonging and affiliation, and they believe that they are responsible for promoting the well-being of others. Singapore, on the other hand, is quite the opposite. They believe self-interest is important. They are motivated by a need of power and material possession, and believe that the state is responsible for everybody's well-being. So how do we appeal to the Egyptians? Firstly, we can create apps that appeal to their social responsibility, because Egyptians strongly believe and they are responsible for the well-being of others. Kofu can implement schemes like food donations, paid for meals, and charities for Egyptians. We also can create and advertise a homely culture in Kofu's food court. Egyptians are motivated by a sense of belonging, so creating a culture or a place that is too foreign might alienate them. Kofu can include more Egyptian themes into their hawker centers like architecture, food, and atmosphere and lighting. Corporate structure recommendations. Kofu can create and promote a team-based business structure where everyone has a voice in its operation. Because Egyptians believe that the interests of others are important, a team culture in the workforce will allow everyone to satisfy the need to ensure that others are taken care of in the company. Last but not least, Kofu can evaluate employees' performance based on a fair and transparent system. Egyptians strongly subscribe to a fair and just system. Having such a system will foster work performance and trust between employees and managers. Thank you for looking at this presentation. Hope you have a good day.